Не сработал ваш хренов протокол!
This movie is a disaster. The Lost Army is just the appetizer for survival games. The next level is more dangerous than the first one, and the ultimate boss that the soldiers have to face is simply incomprehensible. The story begins in a basement laboratory in the Soviet Union. The chief scientist is in a hurry and the harsh alarm sound. The soldier in charge is going to stop the road. It didn't work. One of them was suddenly shot from a distance. Everyone was terrified. The soldier had only half of his body left. The scientist took a notebook and quietly left the scene. He was about to climb out of the lab. A soldier reached out his arm and asked the doctor for help. The monster killed everyone. The scientist took out his pistol without hesitation. When the soldier fell to the ground, he saw a huge figure slowly approaching. 70 years later, a sudden war destroyed the dam. When the lake was drained, everything under the lake was exposed in broad daylight. The female soldier Maya found a patrol team. She was just asking for directions, but she accidentally met her old classmate Kaylee. Maya was delighted and said without hesitation that the purpose of this trip was to find the lost brother. Kaylee was not surprised. Unexpectedly, his subordinate Afong was Maya's brother. Some time ago, because of the low water level, an abandoned laboratory was shown at the bottom of the lake. A pair of Russian soldiers went to explore with the scientist, so Afong was ordered to follow and inquire about the news. As a result, he lost contact with the camp that day. But when the commander heard that Maya was going to the laboratory to find someone, he refused without thinking, because there was news that the laboratory was left by the former Soviet Union. There may be great risks. Besides, Afong has been out of contact for 4 days. It is estimated that there are few chances. Maya has long asked for leave from the camp. This rescue operation is a personal behavior. Kaylee called the commander aside. When he was in school, the whole school knew that Maya was a communicator. He said that Afong was still alive and definitely had something to rely on. Maybe he can investigate what those Russian soldiers were doing. The commander was finally persuaded by Kaylee. He agreed to let him go with Maya to save people. In addition, 2 of Kaylee's capable assistants accompanied him, for people carried guns through the dry river. Soon they came to a hole. Kaylee laughed that this was the entrance to hell. Then he was tied to the safety rope and fell first. There were indeed traces of people around. It seems that they found the right place. There was a corpse lying in the corner. This is a member of the Afong team, but there are many fatal injuries on the body. I don't know what crisis they have encountered. The little mustache took a picture of the stone on the table. The noise was loud in the tunnel. Suddenly, there was a roar in the front. After a while, everyone raised their guns. A shadow crawled slowly on the ground. Kaylee was about to see what was going on, but he didn't want the other party to explode violently. The little mustache hurried to help the attacker. He twisted the other party's neck with his hand, but his arm was also bit. When everyone guessed the identity of the attacker, this guy actually moved again. Maya opened the gun. However, the other party was like no one, until Kaylee raised his gun and shot his head. The attacker fell to the ground and there was no movement. At this point, everyone realized that they were afraid of losing their lives. The little mustache was more scared. In the movie, he was bitten by a dead body. Is he going to cut off this arm? The doctor shook his head. Even if the virus can be transmitted, it won't die so soon. At most, go back and get a few shots of rabies vaccine. The group of people continued to search along the way. This lab is much bigger than expected. I don't know what they were studying before. A few people were still discussing why they didn't see the other dead bodies. Maya, who was leading, stopped. Suddenly, the light in front of him began to flash. Suddenly, the light in front of him began to flash. At the next moment, he returned to his home. His parents told him to eat quickly. However, Maya stopped. He remembered that the old couple had died in the bombing 2 years ago. His mother's face was gloomy. She blamed Maya and his grandmother. The things that caused trouble in the city killed everyone. Maya closed her eyes. In her mind, she thought to wake up quickly. At the next moment, he returned to the abandoned lab. His companions were all lying on the ground. Maya seemed to have realized something. He turned around and shot. He turned around and shot. He only saw a man with big eyes. When he disappeared into the darkness, his companions woke up one by one. Since there was a chance to discuss the previous hallucination, Kayla felt like she was in the ocean. The seawater submerged the top of her head and she couldn't breathe. Everyone else had experienced the scariest thing in their hearts. Everyone else had experienced the scariest thing in their hearts. Maya guessed that this was a ghost that was good at spiritual manipulation. Little Beard collapsed on the spot after hearing. He regretted participating in this mission. Maya said with confidence that he would protect everyone's safety. Kayla also helped him. Don't forget that he is a well-known clairvoyant. Everyone calmed down a little. After a brief rest, they continued to explore the lab. When they passed the third room, there were a lot of dead bodies in it. There must be something wrong with it. Maya rushed in with her head. The 4 of them shot together, aiming at the head of the dead body. Not long after, the scene was clear. At this time, There was a noise in the room on the inside. As soon as the door opened violently, a man was hiding inside. It was the Russian scientist who came to explore the lab. Maya hurried to inquire about the soldiers with her. Dr. Seuss shook his head. They were attacked by the dead body as soon as they came in. Everyone was blown away. Maya looked at Dr. Seuss' backpack. There was a strange medicine in it. Dr. Seuss explained that he had diabetes. This is a medicine he carries with him. Maya didn't think much about it. Then she found a research notebook in her backpack. It actually recorded a lot of human experiment data. Kayla realized that this guy wasn't a good guy. She punched him. Dr. Seuss finally told the truth. His father was a former Soviet scientist. He had developed a special drug in this lab. According to the blood type of the injector, there will be 3 changes. The first is a super warrior who is not afraid of death. The second is an artist who manipulates thought. But Maya interrupted him before he finished. He just wanted to meet his brother early. Dr. Seuss suddenly remembered that they were going to meet at the canteen on the 2nd floor. Everyone didn't think much about it. He took the doctor out of the room. He suddenly saw a large corpse standing at the door. A few people hurried back to the warehouse. Dr. Seuss explained that this is a failure of the super warrior. The black liquid secreted in the body can repair and control the cells that have lost their vitality. In other words, it is a mass production loss. The second kind of artist who manipulates thought. Maya had seen it before. As for the third mutation, it is the creator god in the mouth of the staff. It is said that this mutation can control everything. It even includes cells that are invisible to the naked eye. But this ability is very demanding on blood type and body. Even if it succeeds, the subject will die in an hour. Seeing the blood sign on Maya's clothes, Dr. Seuss was surprised to say that her blood type was just suitable for the third mutation. Maya felt that the background was strange. She didn't want to continue the discussion, so she led the crowd to the canteen on the 2nd floor. She met a spirit lost on the way, but was soon settled by the soldiers. In the end, they came to an iron door and tried to open it several times. Keller threw a few grenades directly. After a loud bang, they finally arrived at the canteen on the 2nd floor. Othing saw his sister, who was full of vigilance. After being beaten, he confirmed that it was not a phantom. There were 2 Russian soldiers next to him, who obviously formed a temporary alliance. It was too hard to control the phantom. At this time, Othing noticed that his sister was still wearing the hairpin left by his grandmother. Maya smiled and didn't answer. She didn't tell her brother that his grandmother was actually a spirit. Suddenly, a loud bang was heard outside. A few people realized that they should not stay here for a long time, but wanted to break through. However, their ammunition was seriously insufficient. Dr. Seuss said, the armory was on the 3rd floor of the lab. Maya decided to follow Keller to search. Due to the existence of the super cold man, it was not safe for many people. She only arranged Dr. Seuss to lead the way in front. Others continued to wait in the canteen, thinking that a zombie could come in at any time. Othing proposed to reinforce the gate of the canteen. Suddenly, a loud bang was heard. Everyone realized that it was not good, and raised their guns to be on guard. As a result, at the next moment, a huge force hit the iron gate directly. The super soldier came with the zombie brother. The soldiers raised their guns to shoot without hesitation. Ordinary zombies are easy to say. A few shots can solve the problem, but the super soldier was weak. Even if he was shot in the head, he was like a nobody. In order to save the little beard, the doctor was stuck by the zombie king. Looking at the gradually falling black liquid, he only felt that his head was blank. Fortunately, Othing was very rational and used a grenade to blow up the monster's stomach. Then he used a few grenades in his right hand. After a loud bang, these zombies finally recovered. The poor zombie was hit by the doctor. At first glance, he looked like a bloodthirsty monster. He turned his gun against himself with his rationality. However, a few people did not have time to grieve. A loud footstep was heard outside. More zombies rushed here. A few people had to shift their positions and hide in the next room. Now the front door has been blocked. They can only climb the ventilation pipe to escape. Maya and Kyle finally arrived at the ammunition depot. However, this place has long been empty. I didn't even see a few bullet shells. At this time, Maya noticed the tape on the shelf. According to the label above, she chose a disc to play. This is the experimental image of the god of creation. After injecting the special potion, this woman can really control the air. She successfully completed the transformation. Although she only had an hour to live, it was enough to destroy the entire lab. After understanding the end of the incident, Maya decided to look for other exits, but she didn't want to go through the passage. At this time, the familiar sense of coldness woke up again. She knew that she had met that big-eyed girl again. Faced with the illusion of reappearance, Maya finally thought of getting out of my mind. At the next moment, she returned to the passage. However, Dr. Sue and Kyle had fallen into an illusion. Maya turned around and face to face with the big-eyed girl. Her ability to communicate started. This is when she found that the other party was also a pitiful person. The woman was forced to get in the car. Finally, she was arranged to do a human experiment. When she woke up, she became this ghost-like appearance. It's rare to meet a communicator who can communicate with herself. The big-eyed girl asked Maya to help end her life. The latter nodded. Finally, she pulled the trigger in her hand. When the big-eyed girl fell, Dr. Sue woke up from the illusion. However, Kyle did not react at all. Maya was in a bad way. She took out her grandmother's hairpin and put it on her head. With her hands out, she entered Kyle's conscious world. At the next moment, she saw the other party floating in the water, but she didn't move. Maya rushed forward and dragged him out of the water. At the next moment, Kyle woke up from a coma. At this time, the two of them found that Dr. Sue had run away. Suddenly, there was a noise in front of them. This is Alvin and others who ran from the ventilation pipe. They didn't have time to mourn their dead comrades in arms. The most important thing is to find Dr. Sue who ran away. Fortunately, there is no crossroad on this road. Everyone is forbidden to come forward to a laboratory. Dr. Sue is really hidden here. Kyle went straight up and gave them a punch. Maya realized that Dr. Sue's purpose for coming here was not simple. The latter smiled happily. These years, she repeatedly studied the research notes left by her father. Finally, the drug formula was improved. It can make people have special abilities, but it can also maintain human reason. However, Maya reacted immediately. Dr. Sue's backpack was not a pill, but a special drug that had been improved by her these days. She didn't want Dr. Sue to suddenly run away, so she took the drug and injected herself with a pill. She shouted, and then she fell to the ground without a sign. Everyone was stunned. Dr. Sue's body began to rot quickly. He successfully transformed into a super soldier and retained his sanity before his death. But after a round of writing, Dr. Sue eventually fell. But this guy still didn't die. Dr. Sue finally screamed, and everyone ran out. As expected, there were a lot of corpses in the corridor. A group of people fought and retreated, and finally hid in an empty room. Maya recognized that this was the place where scientists did the God-creating experiment. There were also several bottles of special drugs on the table. At this time, Dr. Sue was blocking the door with a dead dog. He felt that his chance of survival was short. Fong was about to apologize to his sister. Maya held him in her arms and said that there was no need for such an identity between siblings. Fong smiled and said that he was going to strengthen the defense. He stabbed the iron door with one hand and grabbed his head. Dr. Sue rushed in directly. Only a few people were killed. Maya also fell to the ground and lost her strength. When she thought it was all over, the scene in front of her suddenly changed. She went back to the moment she hugged her brother. Maya reacted immediately. She foresaw the future. Since everyone is destined to be united, Maya decided to give it a shot. She took the special drug on the table and entered the body without hesitation. According to Dr. Sue, her blood type will become a powerful creator after a special mutation. Just as before, her brother was caught by Dr. Sue. He was about to kill Kaylee when the dead dog broke in. Maya finally transformed into a creator. She first stabbed Dr. Sue with her grandmother's hairpin and then activated her power to crush the other party into ashes. With the strong intervention of Maya, although everyone was injured, there was no reduction. Maya knew she only had an hour left. She quickly led everyone out of the lab. She met a corpse on the way. She just made the other party disperse. Kaylee did not forget to activate the base's self-destruct system and copied everything here. When everyone left the lab, Maya's life came to an end. However, Kaylee did not intend to give up. She was forcibly sent to the base hospital. As expected, Maya miraculously survived, but there was a strange woman sitting in front of her. The above is all the content of the underground treasure. Unexpectedly, the first-generation creator god in the lab did not die and saved Maya's life. It seems that this is the real god. Okay, that's it for today. See you next time.